There we go. My name is Tony Martinez. And if you're on here right now, you're either here because you were invited by one of our existing agents. Perhaps you are inquiring about some of the products and services that we happen to offer. Perhaps you're inquiring about an opportunity to work in the financial services sector, or you're here to support an up and coming business owner. And so you're just here to kind of learn about what they're doing and show some support by possibly giving them some referrals in the future. And so whether you're one, the second, or the third, whichever one you are, I welcome you for coming on board. I value your time. I respect your time. And my goal, just so you know, is to make sure that I make the next 30 minutes as valuable as I can, because I know I'm taking you away from your family, your friends, your blocked off time, your obligations and such. And so my hope is that at the end of this, everybody can at least walk away saying, hey, I gained some value. I really learned a lot about this company. And you can make an educated decision as to whether you would like to refer our existing agents to some people that would find value, set up a consultation with one of our financial advisors about the products and services we offer, or look into talking to one of our hiring managers about an opportunity to work here with us, okay? What we've done thus far is I've gathered kind of a list of people that have signed in and told me, hey, I'm here as a guest. I know for sure there might be some other people that are essentially missing in that, and that is okay. We'll capture that afterwards. But I want to give you a little bit of background on myself first before I get right into, who we are as a company, what we do for the people in the community, and really what's in it for you guys if there's a right fit. Okay, let me change this setting here real quick first. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so number one, I'm going to get the cat out of the bag, the elephant in the room. We are not one of those things. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about when I say one of those things. We're not a multi-level marketing platform. I say that out of all respect for every one of those types of companies, not that I have any hatred towards them, but I know that a lot of them like to leverage this type of virtual platform to host meetings on a weekly basis to really promote the services and promote the recruitment process. We're not one of those things. We generate zero income, zero, profits, zero recognition, zero promotion, zero anything, just for the sake of calling you a recruit of our organization, right? What that essentially means, if you think about it, is we're looking for people who are looking for us. We don't have a problem telling people no. We also have no problem receiving the no's. Okay, I'm going to kind of talk about, I'm going to say that from the very beginning. I see Oliver over here. Thank you, Lord. I know during the pandemic, it went crazy. I mean, the whole work from home, the MLMs just went berserk promoting their services, both in the financial sector, in the makeup sector, in the energy drink sector, and whatever sector you can think of. They went crazy. They said, this is it for us. And unfortunately, because we operate in this similar platform of running these types of meetings, sometimes we get confused and people think that we are who we're not. Okay, we're a traditional financial services agency. By definition, we're known as what's called an FMO, financial marketing organization, which means we're the third-party broker to many different insurance and investment companies. And we have active agents that work part-time and work full-time soliciting and selling the products that we happen to offer. And because of what's going on in today's world, we are in a massive expansion and in dire need of quality candidates to learn this industry, work in this industry, and partner with us. Okay. A little bit about myself so that I grew up in the South Side of Miami. I came into this country, with my mom. She was a single mother at the time, didn't speak the language. About a year later, after being in here, she met my father. About a year after that, she got married to my father. That's the individual that I call dad. I got into this industry out of sheer coincidence, to be honest with you. My dad in 2005 was in a very bad car accident that disabled him for a year and a half. And during that year and a half, he thought he had his ducks in a row. Right? He talked to his HR consultant. They put him into a 401k. They put him into insurance packages. I'm sure a lot of us could relate to that orientation day where your employer, put certain plans in place. And he thought he had his things together, right? He wasn't working for a year and a half. And what we found out during that disability was that what he thought he had really wasn't exactly what he thought he had. And unfortunately, because of that, I was going to school in Tampa at the time. I had to drop out of school, come home, and replace my dad's income. Right? Most of us would probably agree that most middle American households, their greatest asset that they carry is their ability to earn a living, right? Their paycheck. And my dad had lost his ability to earn a living. And so me being the oldest of three, I had to replace his income. I had to go work 3 different jobs. I had to, I was a cook at the time, flipping burgers, making $8 to $12 an hour. I did that for a year and a half, 6 days a week, nonstop, 3 different jobs. My mother had to become his long-term care insurance. My mother had to become his nurse. My mother had to dress him, feed him, transfer him. My parents, I remember vividly, they had a Roman tub, one of those tubs where you got to kind of step into. But because my dad wasn't able to walk, I had to turn an outside hose into a shower that my mom, while I was working, could wheel him in and bathe him and shower him and so on and so forth. And so that was a very iconic moment in my life, an important part of my life that changed really the trajectory of what it is I decided to do. I decided to get into the financial services sector because I felt there's probably a lot of people in middle America who have no idea the rules of the money game. I mean, ask yourselves, for those of you that are on camera, how many of you actually during your high school years took a couple classes on finance and how many didn't? How many of us know about taxes before we become adults, or interest? How many of us know about insurances? How many of us know about compounding interest? A lot of things in the money game that we know nothing about during the most important years of our lives, and that's the educational time. And so I decided I'm going to learn this industry. I want to get into this industry because at some point I'm going to be married. I'm going to have my own family. And I want to make sure that during that time, if something should happen to me, right, knock on wood, I understood the rules of the money game. I understood the different types of insurances, and I made a decision to be protected. And I didn't want to kind of go into it with ignorance in me, right? Ignorantly blissed. I didn't want that. And so in being in the industry initially, I realized a couple of things. Number one, a lot of people don't know the rules of the money game. And number two, this industry is actually pretty stinking profitable. It's one of the top 3 highest paying industries in America, right? Right next to the medical industry, right next to the IT industry. The financial services sector is one of the most profitable industries to be a part of. And so I was going to school at the time. I was going to the University of South Florida. I was studying to be a doctor. I realized I didn't really want to do that. Unfortunately, it took me 4 years and a bunch of student loans to figure out I didn't want to be a doctor, right? I'm sure a lot of us have gone through those mistakes. I was one of those guys. And then I said, well, what do I need to do to get into the financial services sector? Do I need to completely change my major? Do I need to go to another degree? What do I need to do? And I found out that the financial services industry, believe it or not, it doesn't require a degree. It actually requires a license, right? If you want to become a realtor, you don't need a degree in real estate. You need to get a license in real estate. If you want to become an accountant, although you can get a degree in accounting, you don't really need a degree in accounting. You just get a license to become an accountant, either a tax preparer or a CPA. If you want to work stocks and bonds, there's securities licenses you can obtain. If you want to get in the financial services industry, everything in financial services is a license. A license, number one, a trainer, number two, a mentor that has experience in the industry to train you and show you the ropes, number two, and number three is an accredited financial firm that's willing to hang your license and hold your license. And so when I got into the industry, I originally came in as a producer, right? I joined a company called Northwestern Mutual. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that company, right? I see Timothy nodding his head. I'm very familiar with that company. They're known as the Quiet Company, a boutique financial advisory firm. I was with them for about 5 years. I learned how to sell the products greatly there. I parted ways with that company after 5 years because, unfortunately, when you're a sole producer, right, it really takes a toll on your lifestyle. You're working nights and weekends and holidays. And, unfortunately, it took a toll on my marriage. I had 2 young kids at the time and I got divorced. And so when I got divorced and ended up being now a single dad with 2 kids that I was sharing custody with 50% of the time, I recognized I needed to stay in this industry because I had a passion for it, but I needed to find a way to generate passive income in this industry. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to build an agency. Right? I'm going to build an agency, right? We all know businesses like, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, right? Those are 3 very famous Caucasian names. Those are people that opened up an agency, right? And decided that in building an agency, in owning the agency, they were going to get a chance to build what's called passive income. And so I said, I want to build an agency. I want to recruit a team of agents. I want to open up my own storefront property. I want to have 6 or 7 different office, desks up at the front. And I want to have them making sales while I'm in the back, managing, overseeing them, mentoring them, right? And generate a passive income. Why? Because if I'm not working one day, I can still generate a passive income because they're essentially there. And so that's what I did. And I joined a company. I worked in that company for about a 4-year period. During that time period, I really learned what it was to build an agency. The only unfortunate downside is it turned out to become a multi-level marketing platform that I learned later on just wasn't necessarily in alignment with what I wanted. That's the truth. Not that I have any discredit towards them in any way, shape, or form. I became one of their largest equity partners in the company, private firm, nothing wrong. I really learned what it was to build and recruit, but I wanted to essentially focus my attention on teaching people how the products work versus teaching people just how to recruit, right? There was something that one of my mentors had said to me a long time ago was, you can't run a bakery until you first learn how to bake bread. So it's hard for you to recruit people or teach people how to recruit if they themselves don't know how to sell the products. However, because I already knew how to sell the products from my past, I did very well there in recruiting, but unfortunately, I just wasn't in alignment with what they wanted to do, which was just continue to recruit. And so I decided that I wanted to step out on a ledge. I wanted to build my own financial marketing organization, FMO, which is what we have here today, a company that I own called TKO Financial Network. We are a back office to a lot of our agents. We are a back office to many different agency owners that run their own operation, fully independent, fully non-captive. We provide the resources of the contracts, the training, the mentorship, the lead business, the CRM system. We provide all of the back office. And so today, we're going to be talking about TKO Financial Network, not necessarily making you feel like you're coming to work for TKO Financial Network, but there is an agency. I oversee probably anywhere from 22 different agencies. There is an agency that invited you where we are their back office. And so I'm going to talk to you about that platform, that back office. And if you decide, hey, this is something I really like to look into doing, whether it be part-time or full-time, that would be the agency that you'd be working at. And at some point building yourself up to either run your own agency or just be a sole independent insurance agent, financial services agent that works in the industry without a boss. Does that make sense to you? Is that fair enough? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Here's my only request. During the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to talk to you about who we are, how we help families, what's really in it for you, and what we're looking for. My only question is this. I want you to keep your questions to the very end, right? I'm one of those people that have massive ADD. You stop me in the middle of my presentation, ask me a question. I have no idea how to get back. I have to start the heck all over again. I'm sure you don't want me to do that, number one. And then number two, I'm going to give you a way out. Right? What we're not going to be doing here is we're not going to be hounding you down, calling you 10, 15, 20 times at the end of the day, the next day, the following day, dying for you to tell us yes or no. I'm going to give you a way out. By the time I'm done today, you're going to get an opportunity to shoot me directly a text message and say to me, hey, Tony, I'm interested. I want to talk to somebody. I'm not interested. Leave me the heck alone. This was a waste of 30 minutes and no one, I promise you have my word, no one's going to be bothering you. Is that fair enough? If you guys can kind of hang with me for the next 20 minutes? Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, good. So I'm going to share the screen here. At this point in time, you don't necessarily have to have the camera on if you don't want to. I'm glad I was able to see faces for the time period, but I'm going to share the screen and kind of get right into it. So TKO Financial Network. What exactly is TKO Financial Network? TKO is not total knockout. Okay. TKO stands for the Kaizen organization. Kaizen is a Japanese word that means consistent, never-ending growth. Okay, it's a word I learned a long time ago as a child, and it just kind of stuck with me. In the world of business, in the world of self-development, in the world of finance, it's good to be consistently never-ending in your growth. And so we're a financial network because we're selling a lot more than just insurance. We're not an insurance agency. Insurance agency sells nothing but insurance products. We have insurance products in our platform. We've also got alternative investments. We've got credit reparation. We've got tax preparation. We're a financial network that helps people in the middle America community and the wealth of America community solve whatever their financial needs are at the time, okay? A breed of new agents is kind of our slogan because we really do want to shake the industry up a little bit, and we want to show the world that education in this industry is actually power. There's a lot of companies that believe that if you know too much of the industry, you could paralyze yourself and not succeed. I think otherwise. I think the more you know and the more resources you have access to and the more widgets you have in your tool belt, the more resourceful you could be to your clientele. And so that's why the new breed kind of comes about. Our mission as a company, one, we're here to help people get on the right track towards financial stability and time freedom. This is a message towards two people, right? Financial stability is the education, right? It's the client. Time freedom, however, is to those people that are working a 9-to-5 that at some point or another would love to run their own business. So for those of you that still have your cameras on, or those of you that are willing to comment in the chat box, ask yourself this question and give me an answer. If you're on camera, you can nod your head. If you want to type it in, you can say yes, you can say no. How many of you at some point or another have thought about running your own business? Raise your hands. A lot of us have, right? I see hands up. I see hands up, right? I see Ben typing in yes. A lot of people at some point or other thought about running their own business. It's almost in our God-given DNA that at some point we would love to run our own business and not necessarily have a boss, control of our time. And so that's our big mission. I love educating and teaching people about how this industry can help people in their community, but also how this industry could give them time freedom along with financial freedom. I love educating people about just the rules of the money game for those people that love what they do and don't see themselves doing anything else. Our objective today is to talk about the difference between a W-2 versus a 1099 and to educate you about an industry rather than to recruit you into a company. I'm a back office. If you partner with me, it's because at some point or another, you want to build your own business, your own brand, your own company, and you're looking for the guidance and support of how to do that, okay? Let's talk about today's economic realities, okay? Number one, the median U.S. household income in America is $74,600 pre-pandemic. Can you imagine that? And that, just so you know, that number is 2 household incomes. Those are today's economic realities. The average student debt as of 2019 was $32,731. $32,731. Over 73% of college graduates don't have a job related to their major. I was about to be one of those. I was about to get a degree in medicine and not necessarily study medicine. 83% of college graduates will graduate and not have a job waiting for them on the other end when they graduate. 53% of Americans don't have an emergency fund in place, and 49% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, you don't have to answer that, but I can tell you me firsthand, there was a time in my life where I was living paycheck to paycheck. When I was a cook, it didn't matter how much I made. I always had just enough to pay all the bills and leave me with like 50, 60 bucks left over for gas. Thank goodness gas prices weren't what they are today. Thank goodness that I worked in a restaurant where I could eat there for free, because if I had to pay for my own food, there's no way I could have done it. Over 55 million Americans right now ended up on unemployment unexpectedly during the 2020 pandemic. I don't know if you happen to fall into it, but I know plenty of people that would tell me I was employed for 15 years, for 10 years at a company. I was loyal, I was devoted to them. I gave them my all. And then during this pandemic, they just let me go. They just, from one moment to the next, let me go. I mean, this is one of the biggest shifts that America's going through. We're going through right now what America calls the Great Resignation. People are starting to realize, I don't want to work for somebody and risk having the same thing happen to me all over again. I want to step out, venture into that world of entrepreneurship and build a business of my own. 41% of divorced Gen Xers and 29% of divorced boomers say that they ended their marriage because of financial issues. Financial issues happens to be the number one reason for divorce. Let's talk a little bit about today's realities as well in reference to the cost. Look at this one. Oh my God, this is going to make you kind of churn. It's going to make me churn. Look how inflation has affected cost of living. A gallon of gas from 1990 to 2015. Everything I'm going to give you right now is based on 2015. These numbers have gone dramatically up. We all know that. Look at the first one, gas. $1.12 in 1990, $2.33 in 2015. We would love to go back to 2015, wouldn't we? I mean, we would love it. I mean, right now we're sitting at $4.59, I think, a gallon. I drive a truck along with a car, but my weekend, my car for fun is a truck, a Ford F-150 Lariat, and it costs about $180 to fill that tank. It's insanity right now. I've never in my life had to do that. Average home went from 101,000 in 1990 to 220 in 2015. And as of 2022, that number's gone up by another 60%. That's insane. Average new car price went from 9,400 to 33,500. And right now, the used car market went up by 12% from one year to the next because of what's happening in today's time. The cost of raising a child went from 120,000 to 245,000. Raise your hands, those that are on camera, for my parents. Parents, raise your hands if you're a parent. There they are. All right, you know what that means? I have like 245,000 a kid. It costs you $250,000 to raise a child. That's what it means. I got an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, right? My girlfriend has a 15-year-old and a 20-year-old. Thank goodness the 20-year-old's already on his own, but I got the 15-year-old. So I got $750,000 that we are essentially paying for the upkeep and the raising of a child. 4-year college tuition went from $30,400 to $94,000. However, look at medium income. Everything went up exponentially. Look at medium income. It went from $52,000 to $55,000. Tell me if this doesn't give you a little bit of an aha, right? back in the day, we grew up in a world where dad was the breadwinner and mom was the homemaker. Nowadays, we grew up in a world that's very hard to find a household where one parent works. It's very common to find a household where both parents work a full-time job. One of them has a side hustle. It isn't because we're greedy. You know what it is? It's simply because it takes two incomes and a side hustle nowadays to support a household. Because back in the day, one person's income was more than enough to cover. Nowadays, it's just not. It's just really not, right? So what are the 4 reasons why people don't become entrepreneurs, right? Maybe you fall into one of these, maybe one of these or 2 of these. The first one is, what business do I get into? The second is time. I don't think I have enough time. The third is money. I don't think I have enough money to start a business. And the fourth is, I have no idea where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. If I could figure out the solution to these 4 questions, there's a higher likelihood of me taking that leap and beginning a business of my own. So let's talk about what industry to get into, right? I'm going to answer all 4 of these. The first one, well, what industry do I get into? I have no idea. I'm talking about financial services. You might say to me, well, why? Why financial services? Simple. Here's why. Between 1946 to 1964, there were 76 million babies that were born at the exact same time. We call those babies baby boomers. That's 43% of the United States, right? So think about this. If you could figure out what 43% of the United States needs at the same exact time, don't you think that you could find yourself in a position to be financially independent if you could provide what they need at the exact same time? So take a look at the different industries that have skyrocketed because of the demand of what baby boomers need, right? When the baby boomers were born, 1946, they were all between 0 to 4 years of age. What does a 0 to 4-year-old need? Baby products. Look at the companies that capitalize, companies like Gerber, Mattel, Johnson & Johnson. They were revolutionized during that era because they provided a baby product. In the 1950s, you got children that are between 5 to 7 years of age. Where does a kid go Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 3:30? They go to school. Well, guess what? There wasn't enough schools for them at that time. So construction companies blew up making schools. They couldn't keep up with the demand. If any of you guys lived in New York, New York was a prime example during that era. They would build schools and they had to build them so fast, they didn't have enough time to name them. So all the schools got named PS with a number, public school 154, PS 155, PS 156, public school. And they all built them the exact same way, templates, cookie cutters. In the 1960s, baby boomers are 16 years of age. What does a 16-year-old want? At least back then. What do they want? They want a car. They want to drive. What industry exploded? The automobile industry. Detroit it went crazy. Ford Motor Company was on the verge of bankruptcy. This is kind of a cool story. They were on the verge of bankruptcy until they hired a civil engineer by the name of Lee Iacocca, who said, what do 76 million 16-year-olds need? What do they want? Not need. What do they want? You ready? They want something fast. They want something cool. So Ford Motor at the time was building 2 cars, the Pinto and the station wagon. And what did they do? They built another car. Those of you in the chat box, go ahead and type up what car you think it is Ford built in the 1960s to revolutionize themselves. A fast car, a slick car, a cool car that a 16-year-old would want to get into versus a station wagon. You know what they built? There it is. I see you. They built the Mustang. Because of the Mustang, they became the #1 employer in the United States. They invented the 9-to-5 schedule. So for those of you following a 9-to-5 schedule, it's because of Ford Motor. They invented the assembly line, all because of Lee Iacocca. Now, Lee Iacocca in the 90s, right? We're talking 30 years ahead. In the 90s was asked by Chrysler Motor to save them. Chrysler said, man, you saved Ford in the 60s, save us now. You know what his first statement was? Where are the baby boomers now? What do they need now? And what car did Chrysler Motor invent for the 40-year-old, the 45-year-old? Anybody know? The Town and Country minivan. The same individual that invented the Ford Mustang for the baby boomer when he was 16 is the same individual that invented the Town and Country minivan for the same baby boomer when he's in their 40s. Why? Because there's a different need for a 16-year-old versus a 40-year-old, and took them out of potential bankruptcy as well too. In the 70s and 80s, real estate explodes. Why? Because baby boomers are in their 30s. Simple, they're in their 30s. What they want to move out of mom and dad's house, they want to raise their families, they want to do what they need to do. What explodes in the real estate in the 70s and 80s, apart from the real estate industry? Vocational schools. Learn to become what? A general contractor, a plumber, an electrician, a mechanic. Why? Because we need those professions to continue building more real estate. Marketing companies go crazy developing what? The white picket fence is the definition of freedom, owning your own home, right? So now you fast forward now 2022 until about 2029, 2030, 2035, some people are saying now. There's an industry right now that's blowing up because the baby boomers are in their 50s and 60s. What do you think a 50 to 60-year-old wants to do? They want to retire. But before they retire, they got to get their finances in order. I mean, they are their biggest asset. Their income. How do I make sure that my biggest asset, my income, my ability to clock in is no longer needed when I retire? I need to get my finances in order. So I got to talk to a financial advisor. This is where TKO Financial Network comes in and says, we're going to change the game. We're going to educate middle America and the wealth of America without having a consultation cost, without having a preference towards one company or the other in a fully independent platform, what they need to do to grow money tax-free and make sure they don't outlive their money. So the next thing is, well, what's the supply and demand? Tony, what's the competition look like in your industry? Well, in the 1970s, there was 500,000 licensed agents. US population was 204 million. 2013, okay, it's done by, according to a study done by LIMRA, okay, there was 149,000 licensed agents remaining, yet the population went up by 316 million. Why such a big shift? I'll tell you. These 500,000 licensed agents in the 70s were baby boomers. And what were they doing in 2013? Retiring, leaving the industry, right? Why did the US population go up? We went from 204 million to 316 million. I have a theory. It's a little rebellious, but I'll tell you what it is, right? In the 1970s, there was drive-in movie theaters, right? In 2013, there's Netflix and chill. This is a lot easier to have a baby when you're in the privacy of your own home. People like that baby, simple as that. But what does this cause? This causes a supply and demand shift. 316 million people need financial literacy, financial services solutions, only 149,000 licensed agents able to help them. You know what that means? This gap is a gap that needs to be filled, a gap that if you take advantage of it and you participate during the right time, you could find a position, you could find yourself in a position to change your legacy. I mean, let's be honest. How many of us wish in 2008, 2009, 2000, how many of us wish we knew, never mind 2000, let's go 2002 to 2008. How many of us wish we would have known what the real estate industry was gonna do? Right? If we could have, we would have. My stepfather's Cuban. I remember seeing family coming into this country, rafting into this country, not having a pot to piss in. A year later, they got a real estate license. A year after that, they were making $500,000 during that era because that what was in demand. That's what was in right now. This is a gap right now. There's not enough people in the industry, and yet there's 360 million people that need our services. So the next question is, Tony, what about time? I don't have enough time to run my own business. Well, listen, it's just math. There's 168 hours in a week. 40 of it is spent working, 49 spent sleeping, 10 in your hygiene, 5 in fitness, 14 in eating, 2 in your faith, and 14 hours commuting. If you add all that up, you're still got 34 hours remaining. So my question to you is this: what are you doing with those 34 hours? I'll tell you right now. One of the questions my family asks is, because I work sometimes nights, like I'm working right now. Sometimes I work weekends. They ask me, when do you spend time with your kids? I tell them, I go, as a business owner, I get to dictate what time I want to spend with my kids. I'm not traditional. I'm one of those people that, in the middle of the day during the summertime, I might, like just yesterday, I took my kid in the middle of the day. I picked him up. We went to go play laser tag for 3 hours. Why? Because I didn't have a meeting. I replace quantity for quality in reference to my time with my children. I know a lot of people that'll work a 9 to 5. They get home so stinking tired. They sit down on the couch, they watch TV, and their kids do nothing more than sit next to them. That's not quality, in my opinion. So my question is, if you're working 40 hours a week for somebody else's business, what are you doing outside of those 40 hours to build something of your own that one day you can say, hey, I just bought back my time and I bought back financial freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do with my family when I want to do them. What we need, about 10 to 15 hours. I'm being 100% honest with you. 4 hours of training per week, right? Spread out, not all at once. And some actual field training with a certified field trainer, really teach you the ropes where you can make money while you're training. 10 to 15 hours a week is not a lot of time. What if that 10 to 15 hours a week makes you an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month? Wouldn't that be a game changer? What could you do with an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month, apart from the feel-good effect of helping families in the community and working your own business and learning how to generate your own income without a boss having to write you a check and tell you how much you're worth on an hourly basis? That's what this does. Now, the next question people ask to me is, okay, well, Tony, I don't got the money to start a business, right? That was the third objection. I don't got the money to start a business. Well, let's talk about it, right? The traditional costs of starting a business in the financial services industry back in the day, supplies, right? Real estate property, you got to pay rent for it. Independent contractors, you got to hire to partner with, your license, liability insurance, marketing costs, business coaches, seminars. I mean, there was a lot of things you needed to pay for to get in the financial services sector. What does it cost nowadays to work in the financial services sector? Are you ready? A pre-licensing program that used to, it's about a $240 value. Okay. I have it here for free. We need to update it. It's not free. It's $49. It's $49, which isn't that bad. It's $49. A license based on the state that you live in, which is about about 50 to 150 bucks, kind of depending on where you live in. Like Florida's very cost effective. I think it's 72 bucks, something like that. And then a liability insurance policy that you need to pay on a monthly basis that'll run you about 35 bucks a month. That's it. That's it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Look, you need a cell phone. You need a cell phone. You need some type of a computer or tablet. But how many people nowadays don't have a cell phone and a tablet? I mean, it's almost an automatic that you have. It's something you have on the personal side that you can leverage on the business side. That's what you need to work in this industry. You don't need a printer. You don't need ink. You don't need a real estate property to physically see people. We run everything that we do like this virtual. And if we happen to go be visiting a client, you know what we do? We meet them at a Starbucks. We meet them at their very own home. We meet them at a Dunkin' Donuts. Everything is electronic. Everything is digital. You don't even need a budget for ink nowadays. That's the truth. You don't even need a budget for ink. Is that a big cost when you think about it? I mean, ask yourself, what do you spend on a Friday night if you decide you want to go out? What do you spend when you go get something to eat with your spouse? When I take my kids out and my girl out, it's a $250 bill no matter where I go. No matter where I go. No matter where. If I just went to dinner earlier today. We went to an Italian restaurant. It was a $120 bill just between me and my girl. So I'm asking you, hey, are you willing to spend 50, 100? Are you willing to spend 150 bucks to get a license that could make you more money than your 9-to-5 does, make you more money than a college degree does? You know, and listen, I'm not hating on college degrees. Look, in the back of my background here, this is my degree. This is my degree. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't get a degree, but you know what's over here is my license in financial services. This has made me more money than this has ever. Yet this one cost me more money than this one did. It's crazy, but it's the truth. It's just the reality. It's how it is, right? Next question people ask is, okay, well, Tony, talk to me about the need for the services. So here are today's financial realities, so you understand. 40.6% of all U.S. households between 34 to 64 are projected to run out of money during retirement. Ask yourself that question. How many of you want to retire and then have to go back? How many of you are worried that you'll never be able to retire? Right? Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out by the year 2035. 45% of Americans have zero type of life insurance protection. The average American carries 3.5 credit cards with a total of $16,000 of unsecured debt. You think there aren't people that need your services? There's a lot of people that need your services. So what exactly are the services we offer? Because we're a financial network, it's a lot more than just insurance. Yes, insurance is one of them. Life insurance protection, cancer, critical injury protection. But we also take care of retirement planning, like pension plans, lifetime income, tax-free retirement plans. Some people need credit reparation and credit enhancement opportunities because they want to position themselves to buy a house in the future, maybe use a home as a self-directed investment. We have that. Health insurance, tax services, long-term care protection, 401k rollovers. Look how many people lost their jobs and kept their money at their old employer because they didn't know that there's actual ways for you to move your money and not have to pay penalties and fees. What about e-commerce, right? Because this isn't even listed there. What about e-commerce? Right? Amazon right now. Think about what Amazon has done in the last 2 years. They're making trillions. I guarantee you every single person here has ordered at least one thing from Amazon in the last 2 years.
Let me go pee real quick. I have to pee so bad.
Hang on one second. There we go. Hope she goes to the bathroom without a problem. But think about Amazon right now. Amazon, it's a $1 trillion business. 1.8 million people on a daily basis are logging into Amazon and buying. That is an enormous virtual mall. What if I could show you how to build your own Amazon store? A self-ran Amazon store where you don't got to learn the business. You just got to essentially understand the dynamics behind it, be the funding behind it as an alternative investment, and then let our department, our company manage it for you and generate you a 10 to 20% per month profit with a guaranteed return of your investment if need be. Right? What about estate planning like trusts, wills, and things like that? What if we have a department where you could put together a trust, a will, a power of attorney when you get your finances in order at a much more cost-effective price than an estate planner would normally charge you? What about? Because you know what's crazy is? You know what's crazy is a third of every life insurance policies, when the death benefit is when the person passes away, a third of those death benefits go unclaimed. You know why? Because beneficiaries don't even know that it exists. Beneficiaries have no idea what to do. There's no solution for it. More than 50% of living benefits, cancer plans, long-term care policies, stuff like that, they cannot claim when they need it because they didn't have a power of attorney in place. What about those documentations? We have all those things in place already for us. These right here are some of the companies that we've partnered with. If you look at them, they're not all of our companies. We've got a lot more, but we've got some pretty big companies here. I mean, if you take a look at it, you're talking about Allianz, #1 cash accumulating tax-free retirement company. Transamerica is a very well-known company. National Life Group is the second, is the largest. I'm sorry, it's the largest employer pension plan for the school board system in the United States, right? AIG is a global company. We talk about healthcare. We're talking about Aetna. We're talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're talking about Ambetter. When you talk about kid policies, we're talking about Gerber Life Insurance. We're talking about Mutual of Omaha. I mean, we've got some of the best companies in the market space. Why? Because we're an accredited institution. That's what's really good about us. So if you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to get a license and do this on my own, I don't need a company like TKO. You can get a license on your own, but to represent some of these AAA rated companies, you need an accredited facility that's willing to back you up, willing to take on the liability, and more importantly, willing to train you and develop you. Because you think these companies are going to let you advertise their logo, their brand, when you're 30 days from 30 days into having a license? It's hard. It's hard, but these are the companies that you essentially represent. This is why I say to you, TKO is a back office. So ask yourself this question: what company have you ever thought about owning? Have you ever thought about the name you would give it, a business card for it? Well, TKO Financial Network could be the back office that helps you run your business, that trains you, develops you, guides you, and lets you have access to some of the best companies in the market space. Big question people ask, well, how do you get your clients? A number of different ways. We've got some people that leverage lead generation. We've got some people that leverage social media ads. We've got some people that leverage a call center. We've got some people that leverage some partnerships. We teach you how to develop partnerships in your community. We call those COIs. We also teach you the art of what's called nesting in the financial services industry. This is a way that you can create warm markets within the existing markets that you got, right? We have all those solutions in place. Income potential is enormous. I'm not here to exaggerate it with you, although the word millionaire sometimes scares people. I will tell you it's in the top 4 of millionaire industries: financial services, technology, healthcare, and real estate. We're about to develop a self-directed real estate division where people can actually get their loans through us, as well as leverage their 401ks and IRAs and put that money into real estate, where your house becomes the 401k. Your house becomes the Roth IRA. Imagine that piece. We have all that in there. This is $1 million industry. Now, what ways can you begin with us? You could become a referral partner. You could say, hey, Tony, I love what I do. I don't see myself doing anything different, but I believe in financial literacy. And as a result, I want to partner with you. I want to get my license. I want to refer business to some of your experts. And you know what? I'll get some referral income. No problem. You'll make 10 to 30,000 a year. You could say to yourself, hey, Tony, I want to do this part-time. I work a 9 to 5. I can't quit that job just yet. It pays my bills, but I'd like to start part-time. Great. You'll generate anywhere from 25 to 75,000 a year based on your work effort. You could say, hey, Tony, forget that. I want to work full-time. I'm going to fire my boss. I'm going to learn this industry, fire my boss to come and work full-time, control my own calendar. Great. You'll make anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 a year based on, again, your work effort. You could say, hey, listen, Tony, I'm one of those crazy guys. I want to build a massive business. I want 10 different offices. I want 15 agents inside of each office. I want to become the state's version of a State Farm, right? Like I live in Florida. I want to become Florida's State Farm. There, I mean, you drive in Florida, you're going to find either a Walgreens, you're going to find a Walmart, and then right next to that, you're going to find my agency there. I want to become that. that person will make a 7-figure type income. They will. They'll have an asset that they can pass down to their family. They have an asset that they can sell. They have a passive income stream that's coming in. You have that opportunity. Now, why us out of everybody else? I'll tell you why. Number one, we're an independent model. You're not going to sign a contract to work with us. You're not going to be captive to us in any way, shape, or form. We're designed to help you run your own agency. So you're not going to be promoting somebody else's company. It's designed for you to build your own. You're vested in your business from day one. There's no vesting period. You got to wait before you own your business. We get directly paid from the insurance companies, the financial firms that we work with, direct pay from them. Our compensation for some of our products start people off at 90%. I'm not going to tell you every product is at 90%. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower, but we've got products that start people off at a 90% contract where our competitors are starting people off at 30, 40, and 50%. Zero cost to enroll. We collect. This is why I say to you, I'm looking for people who are looking for us. I'm looking for people that are going to show up to training, and I'm looking for people that are really going to get their license and want to work the field, because we're not making anything for you coming on board. There's no recognition, no plaque, nothing that we're looking for. Do we have resources? We have resources galore. We have a CRM system with artificial intelligence. We have an auto dialer. We have lead gen system. We have social media ad management. We have videos on how to run this business. We have a back office video library on 1,000 different products and different methods of selling it. So if you can't make one of our trainings, you can always watch some of our videos. We have experienced trainers on hand, ready to work with you. Case management that'll help you with the business that you do turn in. Advanced case management strategies. So if you want to do group benefits, 401k strategies, tax-free retirement plans, OPM strategies, which is leveraging banks' money to generate income, we have that advanced marketing team, that advanced planning team. We have a medical underwriting team that'll help with that piece. Licensing coaches during your licensing process. One of our biggest slogans is you are in business for yourself, but you're definitely not in business by yourself. So as I conclude here today, look, I want to tell you, you have 4 choices. Option 1, you stay at your current job. You like what you do. Nobody here's, I'm not here to throw shade. Not everybody could join the financial services industry, because then we'd have nobody anywhere else. You can stay at your current job. Option 2, you could find another job that doesn't pay you your worth, because ask yourself a question. Do you believe that your employer pays you your worth and your value? I need you to understand something. Whatever they're paying you is less than what you're bringing in. That's the only reason you exist. They live off of the net difference. Whatever they're paying you, you're bringing in more money, and they live off that difference. Option 3, you can go back to school, cross your fingers, you get another degree and find the career of your choice, a passion that pays you your worth, right? That gives you the fulfillment of helping people. Or option 4, you can learn how to run your own business and make what I like to call boss money, right? Boss money, right? And so look, here's my way out for you guys. Here's my way out, okay? As I said to you, we're not one of those things. I'm going to give you a way out. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 guests here that I've been able to get their names and numbers. Ruth, Juan, Emily, Kirk, Shania, Timothy, Levante, Oliver, and Vita. Okay. Are there any more that just kind of came in a little bit late that I did not get your information? Any more? If there are, unmute yourself and give me your info. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Yeah, I got you, Emily. Everybody. Okay. So here's your way out. I'm going to give you my number, not a robo dial number. Okay. Mark is at my home with me. Allison said, okay, perfect. Allison. I'm going to give you a way out, not a robo number, my direct number. This is how grassroots we essentially are, just so you understand. I like to work from the very beginning with my agents. Okay. Thank God willing, I'm able to do that forever, but I'm sure we'll get to a point at some point where that won't be possible, but there'll be much better leadership that would be working with us, that'll make themselves as available as I am. I'm going to give you my number, and you're going to do one thing. You're going to write that number down, and then you're going to shoot me a text message. And here's what I want you to do in that text message. You're going to tell me, you're going to give me 3 things. 1, your name. 2, the name of the person that invited you. And 3, the most important part, number 3, scale of 1 to 10. 1, Tony, this was a waste of my time. Oh my stinking God, this was a waste of my time. What the heck do you have in between your eyebrows? You know what that is? I'll show you. You know what that is right there? That's my girl's curling iron. She burned me. Sierra's laughing. She burned me. You see that mark right there? This was a waste of time, other than we laughed at you, Tony. That's number 1. Or 10. 10. Tony, this was super valuable. I'm so glad that I attended. I'm very interested in talking to either a financial advisor about getting my own finances in order, or one of your hiring managers about seeing what it would be like to work here. 1, not interested. 10, very interested. If you give me numbers less than 4, I won't bother you. My team won't bother you. I'm not going to randomly put your name and number on a website to sell you an extended warranty on your car. You guys know what I'm talking about, all those random calls that you get. I won't put it there. I won't. We won't hound you down. We won't nothing. We won't. If you give me over 5, you have some questions. If you give me 8, 9, or 10, I promise you we're going to focus on you first. Give you a call. We're not here to waste your time. We're going to be very direct. You be very direct with us. If you have questions, let's answer. Let's make a decision on what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Okay, Timothy, I see you as a 9. Here's what I need, though. I need you to text message it to me, because I'm going to finish this meeting here soon. And when I log off, that entire chat won't be there any longer. Okay, but I need you to shoot me a text. Here's my phone number. You ready? It's 239-784-1118. I'll repeat it. 239. I'll even type it up in the chat box. 239-784-1118. Remember the 3 things that I need: your name, the name of the person that invited you, and a scale of 1 to 10. 1, not interested, waste of time, although it was funny watching that burn on your forehead. Or 10, hella interested, really want to talk to a financial advisor, or want to talk to a hiring manager and figuring out what it is that we could do. I appreciate the time you guys gave me. You're free to stay on if you have any questions. I'm here to answer them. But if you got everything you needed, you can go ahead and hop off. I am looking forward to seeing at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 text messages come through, so we know who to call and who not to call, who to bother and who not to bother. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much. Any questions?